So thinking about collaboration, because really social, when it's in the consumer space, is mostly about visibility and some participation. Social in the enterprise space is really about collaboration. It's about how we can get people to work together and how we can have, get people involved in working on problems and on solving problems that we have. So just as I had with the socialization spectrum, I have the spectrum of collaboration here. And on the left, we have the fairly non-collaborative, which is typical of a traditional structured BPM environment, for example, or an ERP environment, or probably many other enterprise applications that you might have, where you have predefined participants. Every task is associated to a particular person or to a particular role, and they do that work, and they can't pass it on to anybody else, or they can't collaborate with anybody else to get that work done. Now, you know what happens in reality when they can't actually do that task. They still collaborate, they just do it by email, or they do it through instant messenger, or they lean over the wall to their neighbor, or they phone somebody. So the collaboration is still happening. It's just happening off the system. And as soon as it's off the system, you can't audit it anymore because it's not in the history log. So you've just totally blown your audit trail out of the water. It's like it's useless from an audit trail standpoint. So now you'll have these mysterious points in your process where the process just halts for like an hour, and you have no idea why it halts. And then it comes back, and then there's some decision made, and it's like, wonder who actually contributed to that decision. Well, you have no way of finding that out because the collaboration's not built into the platform, so you don't know who the people collaborated with in order to get the work done. So we move into something that really allows a little bit more collaboration. If we look in the middle, the idea that you can collaborate with people, you can say, well, okay, I need to be able to share this work with my supervisor and my team. So it might just be a predefined set of people. Or maybe it's anybody within your company. That's still a predefined set of participants. But be able to kind of pass that along. You can't pass it to just anybody you want. You can't pass it to somebody at another company, for example, or pick who you want. But you can say, well, it's got to be out of this pool, so I'll pick somebody who I know has these skills. In some cases, the system might even suggest who would have the skills to help you with a particular kind of problem that you have. If we look over on the right-hand side, this is where we have the ability to collaborate with anybody. So you have a problem, you're trying to resolve this, you want to be able to collaborate with anybody in the universe that can possibly help you with this problem. Or you may want to have it available for self-selection. You think about like the Appian interface. I do keep coming back to that just because I'm here. But if you think about the idea that you could subscribe to a particular type of thing in your feed, a particular type of task in your feed, and you would see things that would come up, and you could say, oh, hey, I could help with that one, and you just jump in and help with that, because it was something that you were tracking, and you saw that you could provide some value in there. So you can actually have people self-select to participate in particular processes as soon as you make those visible. You have to make them visible. You have to have that social aspect, or else this won't even be available to people. But if you make them visible and you allow them to participate, then that will happen, that people will jump in and help things, because maybe it will help them with the work that they're doing somewhere down the line. If we look at how this all comes together, and this is a really important one in terms of the sort of cultural shifts that we're looking at. This morning in his keynote, Daryl was saying that something like 50% or more than 50% of organizations stated their management or their business culture as the number one barrier for implementing BPM systems. And when you throw in the social and collaboration capabilities that are available in BPM systems now, that number probably goes way higher. So the big problem that we're having is that the current management styles in many organizations don't really allow for you to put these sorts of things in place. There's a huge barrier there because management feels that they need to control everything that people do. That's how we get highly structured BPM systems that follow only a certain process and don't let people do things in the way that they think they need to get done or that they know best to get done, but force them to follow certain steps as they go along through here. Social tools really bring about some radical changes in management style, or need to bring about some radical changes in management style, or else they won't work. So you can't just take these tools and shove them into your organization without changing the way that management thinks about how people should be doing their work. You have to free them up to be able to decide what things should be made social, what things that they should participate in, really give them goals, turn them into knowledge workers, where you give them goals and have them decide how they want to achieve those goals rather than saying you have to follow these exact predefined steps. Now, there's certainly cases, I work with some very highly regulated industries where you do have to follow very specific steps, and I don't think anybody's going to have a big problem with that. But there's so many processes that we do, there's so much work that we do day to day in our businesses where just let the people do the thing that they think is the right thing, or is the right thing for the customer, or is the best way to get things done. And you probably find that it gets done much more efficiently, and that people are happier with how their work happens by being able to do that. So it really comes down to trust and developing that management culture of trust as you start to roll out these kinds of capabilities within your organization.